The war in Ukraine is a tragedy. It is a tragedy for the people of Ukraine who are caught in the crossfire. It is also a tragedy for Europe, which is facing its biggest security crisis since the Second World War. The conflict has exposed the fragility of peace. It has also highlighted the complex relationships between global powers. The outcome of this war will have far-reaching consequences. It will shape the future of Europe and the world. The war began in 2014. Russia annexed the Crimean Peninsula. Since then, the conflict has escalated. Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. The fighting has been brutal. Thousands of civilians have been killed. Millions have been displaced from their homes. The war has also had a devastating impact on the Ukrainian economy. The international community has condemned Russia's actions. Many countries have imposed sanctions on Russia. The United States has provided Ukraine with billions of dollars in military aid. However, the war continues. There is no end in sight. The war in Ukraine is a reminder of the human cost of conflict. It is also a stark warning about the dangers of nationalism and imperialism. The world must come together to find a peaceful solution to this crisis. The relationship between the United States and Ukraine has been complex and often fraught. The U.S. initially hesitated to provide Ukraine with substantial military aid. They feared escalating the conflict with Russia. However, as the war dragged on, the U.S. increased its support for Ukraine. This included providing advanced weapon systems like the HIMARS rocket launchers. However, recent events have cast a shadow over this partnership. The U.S. suspended military and intelligence aid to Ukraine in late February 2025. This followed a public disagreement between U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Trump accused Zelensky of not doing enough to investigate his political rivals. This move drew criticism from both Democrats and Republicans in the U.S. They argued that it undermined U.S. interests and emboldened Russia. The aid suspension was short-lived. It was restored after a U.S.-Ukraine meeting in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The meeting aimed to find a peaceful resolution to the conflict. It resulted in a 30-day partial ceasefire agreement. This ceasefire covers long-range attacks and hostilities in the Black Sea. This agreement is a significant development. It represents the most concrete step towards peace since the war began. However, the agreement is fragile. It remains to be seen if both sides will adhere to its terms. The partial ceasefire agreement is contingent on Ukraine meeting certain conditions. One condition is the signing of a critical minerals deal with the U.S. This deal would grant American companies access to Ukraine's vast reserves of lithium, cobalt, and other minerals. These minerals are essential for the production of electric vehicle batteries and other high-tech products. The U.S. argues that this deal would benefit both countries. They say it would help Ukraine rebuild its war-torn economy. It would also reduce the West's reliance on China for these critical minerals. However, some critics view this deal with suspicion. They see it as the U.S. leveraging Ukraine's vulnerable position for economic gain. Another condition for the ceasefire is Ukraine demonstrating its readiness for peace. This includes a commitment to constitutional reforms. It also includes measures to protect the rights of Russian-speaking Ukrainians. Russia has long used the alleged oppression of Russian speakers in Ukraine as a pretext for its aggression. The U.S. insists that these conditions are essential for lasting peace. However, some Ukrainians view these demands as concessions to Russia. They argue that Russia should be held accountable for its actions. They are wary of any agreement that could legitimize Russia's territorial gains. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky finds himself in an incredibly precarious position. He needs to maintain the support of the U.S. and its Western allies. This support is crucial for Ukraine's survival. However, he also needs to address the concerns of the Ukrainian people. They are tired of war and want a just peace. Zelensky faces opposition from various quarters. Former presidents Petro Poroshenko and Yulia Tymoshenko, both prominent opposition leaders, have been critical of his handling of the war. They have accused him of being too willing to make concessions to Russia. They have also voiced their opposition to holding elections during wartime. They argue that it would be neither free nor fair. Despite these challenges, Zelensky remains Ukraine's most popular politician. His approval ratings remain high. This is a testament to his wartime leadership. He has rallied the Ukrainian people and garnered international support. In the wake of the conflict, Europe stands divided. Countries find themselves grappling with the complex web of alliances and enmities. Economic sanctions and political tensions have further deepened the rift. As the situation evolves, the continent faces an uncertain future. How Europe navigates this division will shape its destiny for years to come. The situation on the ground is dire. Civilians find themselves caught in the crossfire, their lives turned upside down in an instant. Entire communities have been displaced, seeking refuge wherever they can. The human cost of this conflict is immense, and the world watches with bated breath. Ukraine stands at a pivotal moment in its history. The choices made today will shape the nation's future for generations to come. Will it embrace a path towards peace and stability, or will the turmoil continue to escalate? The world waits to see which direction Ukraine will take. The echoes of past conflicts resonate through the present. This isn't the first time Ukraine has found itself at the center of geopolitical tensions. History has a way of repeating itself, and the lessons learned, or unlearned, continue to influence the current situation. The past and present are intertwined in a complex web of events. The future remains uncertain. The outcome of this conflict is far from clear, and the stakes couldn't be higher. As the world watches, one thing is certain: the decisions made in the coming days will have profound implications, not just for Ukraine, but for the entire global community. What lies ahead is anyone's guess, but hope remains that a path to peace can be found.